A few questions about it. It refers to us here as customers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're a customer, doesn't that mean that you're sort of like a corporation?
Well, we call yourselves customers because you're paying us money, and
But a customer has the choice to pay or not to pay.
Well, I mean, if you have that. So if you decide not to pay, then recovery process will be taken.
But so that's what I'm saying. So
Okay.
you're referring to us as customers, but then we're forced into paying. So we're not really customers.
Okay,
That's the way I see it. Anyway.
All right. Okay.
Just here it says, you must complete and return the information within 14 days. Failure to do so is an offence. Under what law?
I don't know. So what? I mean, what's this in context with? Okay. Once the magistrates have granted a liability order, so we've taken a liability order. If you haven't paid, then you'll be, we will
use force. Will you use force against him if he doesn't pay, sir?
Excuse me. Can I just finish what I'm saying?
I'm
there?
sorry, I didn't realise that I touched a raw nerve there. I can see it in your face.
Just bear with me a moment, please.
Didn't like that, did he? You want to go and sit over there?
Is that my stuff?
Yes.
Oh, is that the rest of the stuff I've got to refer to? Oh no, you've got the rest of it, haven't you?
Try and get him to use force against you.
Oh, you won't. It would be the...
Will the council use force against me? Is the question. Did you see his face? Yes, I can see by your face that I've touched it.
Hiya. Sorry.
No problem.
Let me see if I can help you.
Sure.
But you're going to have to start at the very beginning. Is it your council tax that you're having trouble with?
Just want a few questions. Been to your website. That there.
Revenue Services, collect an unpaid council tax recovery enforcement. Yep.
And I just noticed a few things. Basically, you refer to us here as customers.
Right.
Now, a customer is, like, say if I go into a shop and I buy something, then I pay for it.
Yeah.
But if I don't pay council tax, I get taken to court. So it's almost like we're not a customer because we're forced into paying.
Right.
And obviously if we don't, you take us to court and get a liability order.
Yeah.
So I'm just querying why...
Well, in general, sir, Rushcliffe Borough Council refers to all of the residents as customers. That's just our policy.
Okay.
It could be a resident or it can be a customer, but we refer to you as
It's
customers.
confusing because, it's like Nottingham City Council say people, but then they call us residents and citizens. But then then if you don't register your name, then they call you a legal occupier. An occupier is an illegal army, isn't it? That's what it says in the dictionary.
I think, to be honest, I don't know how would you want to pick it to pieces. Really, it's that's just the way it is. I mean, if somebody doesn't know who I am when they write to me, they put to the occupier. If they know who I am, they put my name. So.
It says you must complete and return information within 14 days. Failure to do so is an offence. Under what law is that?
Again, it's each council will be binded really by the central government and what they say, and our collection policy is this really. Council tax is a legal tax. and it's due on the 1st of every month.
Where does it say in law that
pay it?
excuse me, where does it say in law that anybody's obliged to pay council tax?
Well, I would kind of think it is, really. I mean, if you don't want to be honest with you,
we don't want to break the law, but we're just asking questions. That's all. I quite happily pay the council tax.
Council tax is a legal tax at the end of the day.
Do you have the law which says it's legal?
If you want to go through every single, if you want to go and see a solicitor regarding it, then
I wouldn't want to go and see one of them if they're all in the
you
club
can go
together.
and see it. At the end of the day, if you don't pay your council tax, you will get taken to court.
So
and
the council,
it will end up in a committal.
So the council will use force against you.
So
surely that's slavery, isn't
you don't know what the law is?
No, it's not slavery.
I take it you don't know what the law is.
I mean, if you want to go into like legal documentation and things like that, I do suggest that you contact.
It's a very easy request. You know, where does it say in law that you're obliged to pay council tax? That's all.
It's just no.
It is legal. Yeah, you are legally obliged.
Could you show us the law, please?
You don't know what the law is what we're saying basically. Yeah.
I mean,
do you have a copy of the law?
We can have a law. We can
sure, great.
legal laws if you like.
Because I mean, I've looked and I can't find it.
Right. Well, we'll go
Sorry,
into
we're
it.
not being funny or anything. It's just nobody seems to ask this question. It's so, you know, if you're forced against your will to do something that you don't want to do, why should you be forced into paying for something?
Everybody has to pay council tax, though, don't they?
Where does it say?
Only if there's a law saying it. So that's what we're saying. I've looked.
Where did we agree? Where
it.
did anybody agree to it?
Well, I think you're asking in the wrong place, then, aren't you? I think you're going to have to. Let me just phone.
This is the council, isn't it? We've got the right building. I'm not being funny or anything. I know it seems. I can see the look on your face. It's of shock and horror.
Well, no, not really. I think you're being a little bit. Not. I don't think you're being.
It's not a hard request, though, is it?
What?
I mean, it's a
what are you
tiny
actually requesting? If you
Where does it say
information regarding why is it? Right.
Just where does it say in law that everybody has to pay the council tax? And where did we agree to it?
One of the things I did find out is in America there is no law that says you have to pay income tax.
Everybody that works for the IRS, the Inland Revenue Service, doesn't pay any tax in America because they know that there's no law which says that you have to pay any tax whatsoever. We did ask this question to Nottingham Law Society. The lady said she hadn't got a law book with her.
Right. So where did you go then?
We're going to go and see them again to go and have a look at her law book,
Right.
but I doubt that she's got one.
Okay. Let me just try and think. This person to ask will be.
A lawyer? You must have a
In-house legal team.
yeah.
I mean, you can ask for information regarding this under like freedom of information requests and things like that, you know. So you're quite welcome to put that in writing and request it, or you can email it through, and then you can get your absolute definitive answer should you require that. Okay. Do you want to do that?
Well, if you want to just give them a quick ring, because they might be able to answer it just over the phone.
It should be a pretty easy question to answer. Somebody will say, "Oh yeah, it's this law, and it's section there. It's right there." We know the council do such wonderful things for the community. They're not a private registered corporation for profit, are they?
Hiya Paul, it's Nick in Customer Services. Are you alright? I've got a couple of gentlemen here that are requiring some information regarding why, or the legal definitive of why they've got to pay council tax.
Just where does it say in law?
And where does it say that it's the law that you have to pay council tax? Right. Can you direct me to them so I can print it off and give it to them, please? Yeah, brilliant. Can you? You want to know why you have to pay?
No, what law? Just what law it is.
Or what law? Or
if they can just tell you the thing so I can go and look it up, that'd be fine.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, can you email it to Mark Miller though, because I'm sat at his computer at the moment, and then I can print it out. M Miller, yeah. 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 Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Right, it's going to send me all the information, so
Okay.
you can have a read through that. It will direct you to anywhere else should you want to investigate it further.
Got another question.
Thank you.
It's about bailiffs, and it says bailiffs are used only as a last resort. All right.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say they have legal powers. Now, I've looked into this, and the bailiffs that you use at Equita, which is a private bailiffs company, they're not court-registered bailiffs, so they don't have any powers.
Which court do they go through?
What powers are you talking about there? Powers as in
It says
to
here
change your
they
locks
have legal
or-
powers. Again, what legal powers do they have? Because the private bailiff has no powers whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, but you said here they have legal powers.
But legal powers as in
The council said
they
they've got legal.
are
Yeah, the council, sorry.
allowed, I mean,
Is everything okay?
they're allowed to. Beg your pardon? What did you just
Is
say?
everything okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine. They're allowed to come onto your driveway. They're not allowed to enter your property unless you physically invite
Yeah,
them
I know.
in.
Yeah.
But they do. I think what that's referring to is if they're allowed to come into your property, if you invite them in, and then what they'll do is they will then have a look at goods that you've got. So if you've got a 8-inch TV
Don't
in your
watch
front
TV.
room or whatever. I mean, I'm not referring to you two,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
of
don't
course,
know
yeah,
what you've
no.
got in your house. What I'm referring to is in general.
In general, yes, of course.
Okay, and then they are allowed to take the goods from your house should you not pay your council
But what happens if you
tax.
don't allow them in?
If you don't allow them in,
Can't take
there's-
anything, can they?
it has to come back to the council.
Okay.
If they put it this way, if you got contacted by a bailiff
Mhm.
and you're in hospital for 4 months or whatever, they couldn't get into your property. They couldn't. There was no way of communication whatsoever. They kept knocking on your door. Nothing. It would be passed back to the council.
So the same would apply then if you just ignored them.
It's up to you whether you want.
I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm just trying to get.
Yeah.
I've got something. Is the council a court?
No.
Okay, well here it says committal proceedings. This will mean that the council will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Surely only courts are allowed to issue warrants.
Well, the council goes to the court. to
That's not what it
request
says here.
so.
It says the council will issue a warrant.
Well, all of those that you're picking out now, what I suggest is, if you don't think that that's worded correctly, I would email to revenues, because it is revenues, isn't it?
Well, surely the
Got
council
that.
wouldn't say that they would issue a warrant if they
The
wouldn't.
council will go to court to
But
request that
Why doesn't it
warrant.
say that?
So, well, in that case, if you're not happy with the way it's worded, then
No,
I
I'm
suggest
No,
that
no,
you-
I'm very happy with it.
No
It's
problem
just-
with it.
it's
It
just-
just doesn't seem correct. I would have thought that the council would have used proper legal advice when giving this public information, wouldn't you?
What I suggest to you to do is, like I said, freedom of information, it will go straight to our legal department and then they'll just answer anything that you
How long does it take for them to reply normally?
generally has round about a 14-day turnaround. It can be quicker, but that's just what we say, just allow us that bit of time, obviously, because
Do they have
some's
to?
greater, some is more in depth than others, you know, obviously.
Do they have to reply by law? Or can they
freedom of
refuse to reply?
Oh, actually,
reply.
I think it's 20 days. I think they get 20 days for a
Oh.
freedom of information request.
But they'll reply to you.
Did you hear about the guy in the city council that got sent to prison yesterday for
No,
non-payment of
it's
council
not,
tax?
Oh, right.
72-year-old bloke, and they sent to prison for 28
Here
days.
we go. Yeah.
I thought that you couldn't get sent to prison for a civil matter.
As requested, the levying and collection of council tax is provided for by the Local Government Finance Act 1992. I think he means I go and pull it out. Right, I thought I was just going to send it to you, mate.
Local Government Finance Act 1992.
It may be quite long.
I would imagine most of these legislation is. And written, of course, in legalese, so we don't understand it.
Doesn't that go against the Bill of Rights, my friend? Because the Bill of Rights, Section 12, says that no man or woman, no person may be given a fine or a forfeiture of output first being put in a court of law. So I suppose a council tax is almost like a fine, isn't it?
Well, they'll class it as a tax. Interesting. But again, local government finance. We'll see. I'm fairly
so it's an act and a statute. It's not law,
I'm fairly
is it?
sure that it won't apply to a man or a woman.
Oh, most definitely not. No, it'll apply to a person, legal fiction, or somebody with somebody's name. Do you know if you were taken to court? But please excuse me, I'm not being funny or anything. If you were taken to court and I was to stand in the court, and the judge was to say, "Can you confirm your name, sir, and that you owe this council tax?" If I told him that I was a man and that I don't acknowledge the person, but I'm me. I'm Patrick. So I'm not the Mister. I'm actually a man. What would he do? Do you think?
I have no idea. I don't know. Why?
Oh, well, we think that they're actually looking for the legal fiction, the Mr. Patrick Mower.
You think what, sorry?
That they actually want you to confirm your name and address.
Yeah.
Because it seems in courts they only deal with legal fictions. They don't deal with men or women. They only deal with the person. But I'm a man. I'm not a person. Aren't you a woman and not a person?
Yes, she's a woman. I can confirm that.
Most definitely.
I've not really.
Be a beautiful woman.
I have not questioned that. I don't know. I've never thought about it, to be quite honest. So.
No, one of the things we found
don't-
out is like government paperwork always comes with your name in all capital letters.
Like on a gravestone.
Yeah, and that refers to your birth certificate, which is your legal fiction created when you were registered. And so when you go to court and they ask for your name, you don't realise it's written in all capitals. So when you say, yes, I'm Bob Smith, you've confirmed that you're the legal fiction Bob Smith,
So
or
you've
you've
made a
joined up
contract.
with the legal fiction.
I've never. Do you know what?
We woke up a few months ago and we just decided to start asking questions about everything because nobody seems to question it. But we noticed the more we question, the more, well, not you yourself, but other people have become quite angry.
Okay. Well, to be quite honest with you, I suppose a lot of the time people are angry because you kind of get angry if you don't know the answer to it. But the questions that you're asking, really, I think
It's a viable
I wouldn't
question,
know.
though, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
Sorry, what's your
But-
name?
Nicola.
Hi, Nicola.
Hello. Right, the whole act. Here we go. PDF. You've chosen to open the whole act. Go on now. Need to open. See if I can print it all out for you. As I said,
Just
and
if you see how many papers, if it's loads of pages, then don't bother. I'll go and look it up myself.
Or could you ask the chap on the phone, or whoever you spoke to on the phone, just which section it is where it says that everybody's obliged to pay it? Didn't somebody mention the Local Government Finance Act 2009 before?
Can't remember.
This is 1992.
So boring.
Yeah.
Well, you can take it home for light reading. It might be boring. It might not be boring. Oh
something
no,
interesting,
that's
Nicola.
2 of 258
Yeah, don't-
pages.
No, don't go and print it
Just,
off.
I've written it there. You can refer to that. But it's like Local Government Finance Act.
Do you know which section it is?
I don't know what section it is.
Nicola, is it possible to ask
Yeah,
the
part 1
person on the
council
phone?
tax. Right, so
Oh.
part 1. So if you read through part 1.
I think I've read this before. I've read the Council Tax Act because it says the person liable to pay the council tax the responsible person to pay the council tax is the liable person, and the liable person is the person that gives the name. So what you were saying, if you don't give your name, Who are they going to tax? But if you don't give your name, then they use force against you. But that's slavery. We didn't agree to that, did we? The government and the councils, the police, everybody here as our public servants, which we pay for, for our interests, for the men and women that live in the county or the city.
See, I can't understand why, when he said that, why didn't you say it's on page such and such, or it's
such and section
paragraph
3.
such and such?
Because there's, well, if you've looked into a few things yourselves already, you must know that, like, legally, when you look at something that's written down in legal format, it goes on and on and on and on.
And leads you round and round in circles, and you still never get anywhere.
People mostly probably can't be bothered to change it, can't bother to read through it all. But you've got about 200 and odd pages.
It's a good question, though, isn't it, Nicola? Yeah? Well, where does it say in law anybody's obliged to pay any tax whatsoever? We did get an answer before. How would a brain surgeon be able to deliver a baby? I think the lady was a little bit confused. So I asked her, where does money come from? Where do you think money comes from?
You would think, though, with a question like, because that's very important, you would think that they would just be able to go bang like that.
Yeah, it's such and such law section, whatever.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Straight away.
Yeah.
We called HMRC as well. Do you know what he said when I asked the question? I'm a taxpayer, council taxpayer as well. I just want to ask one question. Yes, sir, with pleasure. So where does it say in law that anybody has to pay any tax whatsoever? Do you know what he said? That's a new one. Really?
And he couldn't actually find the law that said you have to pay tax.
He spoke to his manager and they still couldn't find it. That's HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue Collection Service. I wonder if the Queen knows where it says in law that anybody's obliged to pay any tax. The Bank of England seems to magic the money out of thin air, don't they?
Then you've also got your arguments as, well, all right then, why should we pay tax? But you want, if you collapsed in having a heart attack, you'd want the ambulance to come and pick you up, wouldn't you? You'd want the doctors to, like,
yeah, but income tax doesn't go to any of that.
No, but your council tax goes towards Notts County Council that provides your 999 services, not your income tax.
Oh, we've looked into that. Nottinghamshire Ambulance Service, the fire service, they're actually a private registered corporation for profit for their shareholders. Yeah. And we can bring in a company report on them if you're interested.
Right.
And so is Rushcliffe Borough Council as a private limited company.
For profit for its shareholders. And we asked if we could become shareholders of Rushcliffe Borough Council, and they said you have to join a members club.
And you're not allowed to join it.
Unless you're higher up, like in the...
We do look all these things, and we found that almost even Nottinghamshire Police Force, you can look that up on Dun & Bradstreet, a credit reference agency, and they're a private for-profit corporation.
They've even got CCJs against them, and Nottingham City Council has. Yeah. You see how we've opened a bit of a rabbit hole?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'll quite happily pay. I don't want to get into any trouble. But
have you paid it or not?
Yes, of course. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to magistrate's court. I don't want force to be used against me. But it's looking pretty much like, that we're slaves. So I thought when I was born on this planet, there was just water and land, that I was free. But I realised that I've only got free will. But that free will can be impeded. So I can be forced. I mean,
obviously, if there is no law, then at some point, if I can't find it, then I'm going to stop paying council tax. Because if there's no law that says I have to pay it, why should I pay it?
But obviously, if the bailiffs come to your door, if you don't give them the name, they can't do anything. So why should you pay it anyway? What happens if everybody stopped paying it? Then what would the government do?
Yeah, they'd have to give up, wouldn't they? Like they do with the poll tax.
Well, they just have to. They just.
No, they just changed the law.
Nicola, when you go to a bank, say if I went for £1,000 loan, and I've done this before, you go into the bank, they check your credentials, check that you're working, your salary and stuff, and say how much would you like to borrow? £1,000. So I've got my card here. The machine's outside. When can I take the the paper money with the pictures of the Queen on it out the cash point? And they say 1 minute, and he goes with his finger. He presses 1, and then 0, 0, 0. So where did that money come from? He says, my finger. So where does money come from? He says, we magic it out of the thin air with our finger. Like that. I says, well, whose money are you lending me? He says, yours, sir. So when you sign the form, you actually make the money. You write a promissory note for us, which we sell on to somebody else. The bank told us this. They haven't got any money. We make the money by signing the document, and then they give us the pictures of the Queen. So 1 is none, and 0 is nothing. But you can't have nothing. You can't have none before you can have nothing, can you? It's just, it feels like I've landed on the wrong planet. It really does.
Yeah.
I think this is the only planet in this particular system where you have to pay to live on.
Well, I would think so, yeah. Well,
It's strange, isn't it? Because I thought we put everything here for free in previous lives. Or didn't God give it us all for free? Why should we have to pay for anything?
I don't know.
Oh, thank you for your time anyway.
But
Nicola, it's been lovely
it's
to
been
meet
very
you.
enlightening. I'm going to have to go ask myself a few questions back there. Look, there you go.
That's a website I run. You might find something interesting on there because we discuss all this sort of thing.
Have a look on the latest news
What,
headlines.
this is yours, is that?
Yes. That's at my YouTube channel where I put videos out explaining what I found out.
Yeah.
And
We just like to ask questions, really. We question everything.
I actually do talks all over the country. People ask me to come up and do a talk and explain all these sort of things.
So we keep finding out different things because of asking questions. Most people don't seem to ask questions. You remember at school? Oh, miss, I thought we had to learn. Shut up or get out. So. And it's lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Alright then.
Nicola, have a nice weekend.
I'm going to go on this then.
Okay, have fun.
Alright, thank you.
Oh, there's cures for cancer on there, by the way, as well. About 16 of them. There's 16 cures for cancer, by the way, that the government doesn't want you to know about on there. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend.